Welcome to the ToothSketch podcast. I'm Dr. Shreya and I'm here with my colleague Dr. Choksi.
Hello everyone.
And today we are here with Ashley from Byrnes Dental Lab. Hi Ashley.
Hello.
So Ashley is the owner of Byrnes Dental Lab that he set up with his dad some 15 years ago. And his lab has been a pioneering lab in the digital world. And Ashley and his team of 30 are always trying to push the boundaries of digital dentistry, whether it's through design, milling, or printing. And also, Ashley, I've heard, is a mad keen cook, especially on the barbecue. And I've heard that he keeps chickens, ducks, and even some Nigerian pygmy goats. Is that right, Ashley?
That's correct, yes.
I've seen lots of pictures of that.
So that's quite interesting. So Ashley, thank you so much for taking out time to be with us today. And so Ashley, your lab is one of the most spoken about labs in the UK. And people say that it's a lab from the future. And so can you please tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I know about lab of the future. For me, it's regular run of the mill, but we're a very, very heavy digital lab. We run exocad 3Shape. Crown and Bridge, 100% of all the work that goes through my lab has a digital aspect in it. My denture side of it and my prosthetics is probably less so. That's probably about 50% digital. But all my cobalt chrome designs come from a digital frame design initially. We run enormous 3D printers here. We've got carbon M2 printers. We run milling machines, and we just try and push the boundaries with what can be achieved using this kind of technology to make dentistry better, more affordable, reproducible. It's cool times.
Absolutely. And having said, and as you said about carbon printers and everything, so you are one of the pioneers in dentistry, which I can think of, who has adopted to all these technologies, whether it's latest technologies like carbons or digital technology, which everyone is using now. What do you think are the benefits which you think about these new technology which is coming up? And what are the threats you think there are, if there are any, in not investing in these kind of latest technology?
Yeah, I mean, I think, advantage-wise, it's just huge. I mean, we're in an industry that needs to work. I think it needs to work sort of smarter, not harder. Technicians notoriously work long hours for low pay, and I think that needs to change. And I think digital technology is allowing us to remove a lot of the mundane tasks and actually focus on the aesthetic, focus on the function. It's allowing us to make better restorations in less time. So in my lab, we start at 8:30 and we finish at 5:30. And by 5:30, there's no one left in the lab. We don't work weekends. Our sales are up, our margins are up, and we're a much more successful business. If we have fractures or failures, digital allows us to very quickly and easily produce those. But digital also helps us to reduce our fractures and failures. If we get a fracture and a failure, I have a file. I can digitally slice that file. I can see that, okay, the porcelain support wasn't right there. We can train the team. We can make sure that doesn't happen again. Things like our Michigans and Tanners, they're all digital. When a patient grinds through their Michigan or their Nigerian pygmy goat has got hold of it and eaten it, we can really and very quickly just reprint another one at a very low cost. So it's all about reproducible. It's all about streamlining processes. It's also improving things like biocompatibility. A lot of positives. Threat-wise, I don't really see any threats to us as digital. I mean, there is always outside threats. There's arguments that digital could, for example, be automized. There is a risk that artificial intelligence can come in, but you still need the artistry. And we're starting to embrace artificial intelligence in the lab now with some of our function, some of the stuff we do behind the scenes. And I think what that's allowing us to do is let my team focus again even more on the artistry side of things, more on the things that we enjoy. We enjoy making beautiful things. We don't enjoy pouring gypsum models. We don't enjoy making a mess. We like a clean, tidy working environment. And digital allows that to be. It takes us into modern high-tech manufacturing, which is where we should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, completely true. At the end of the day, you are manufacturing high quality medical devices. So that's where you need to be. But when you are going into or adopting a new machine, any new technology, how do you decide what you should invest in and what you should go for and what not to go for?
Yeah, I mean, that is a challenge. I mean, anyone that's pushing the boundaries and being a pioneer, I guarantee you some of us all have a machine in the shed that we never made any money out of, that it was a terrible disaster and cost us a small fortune. And that's the risk of being a pioneer. If I didn't want to be risky, you know, you have the regular curve, I would go sort of, you know, towards more the top of the curve. But I think, you know, we like to push the boundaries here, and we like to take a bit of a calculated risk, and we'll try things. We look at the technology, and I must be honest with you, most of our technology is on gut feeling. You know, we have a little play with it, we see how it works, and we get a really good understanding. We also have a policy in our lab that I don't buy any equipment, machinery, or technology software without my team's consent. So I'll go to, like, say, Chicago for the big LMT meeting, or we'll go to ADI, or we'll go to one of these, you know, where there's a lot of other technicians, or there's new technology, and we'll have a look at something, and something will catch my eye, and then we do a presentation when we get back, and we pitch it to the team. We pitch the pros and the cons. The team pull this to pieces, and then as reflectively we have a vote. And, you know, our biggest investment probably was our carbon printers. We have a pitch, you know, we said, look, the financial risks of this are astronomical. If this doesn't work, it's no pay rises for 2 years. We were dead straight with that. And unanimously, the whole team voted, yeah, let's do this. So I think also, if you embrace your team with technology, they're more likely to embrace that technology and push its boundaries. So that's kind of how we approach new technology.
I mean, I remember this very well when you said that last time that I have stopped being responsible for buying things because Alison is overlooking things, the amount of money I'm spending on all these carbon printers. And Alison was like, yeah, he's spending a lot. He doesn't even know how much he's spending.
No, I don't. No. It's been good.
I know that.
It's still growing.
What do you think are the new technologies, Ashley, which might be coming up in next 5 years? What's the big thing you think which will come in next coming 5 years?
I think additive manufacturing, 3D printing of metals, of ceramics, I think that's really where we're seeing things. So subtractive manufacturing, machining, I think that is still got some technology to come, but I think we'll see it start to decline. It's wasteful, not particularly environmentally friendly. I think additive manufacturing, from our perspective, we're going to see amazing new materials coming in. You know, we're in this modern green world. Environment is really important to us at Byrnes, and I don't like throwing things away waste. I don't like the fact that all of our zirconia discs just go into landfill. I don't like the fact that our 3D printed resin can't be recycled. We know companies are working on this. We know they're trying to change this and make this more green. And additive manufacturing has a much lower waste than anything subtractive. We're going to start seeing printing of ceramics. We're going to start seeing printing of better, more advanced materials. So I don't think we're going to see anything totally groundbreaking. I think we're going to see a massive improvement in methods, software, and materials. That's where I see this development going. You know, we're involved in a lot of stuff behind the scenes in dentistry, and some of the stuff that's coming this year and next year, I think is going to really change the world of additive manufacturing. And that's where I'd see the changes in the next 5 years.
Yeah, definitely. I think from subtractive manufacturing is going to go to additive. Not only you're saving material, in the long run, you're going to end up saving costs as well. And I think it's going to be more efficient, definitely. Yeah, but like when a small lab is starting off in the digital journey, it is a big investment. Where should they start? What should be the first thing?
I mean, I think it's amazing. I mean, I would say I get a small lab ring me at least once a week. And they're expecting this really simple answer of buy this. And then, you know, it's not that simple. I mean, I get labs saying, right, I want to buy a scanner. I want to buy some software. I want to buy a milling machine. I want to buy a printer. I've got £30,000 to spend, and I don't know where to start. Firstly, you're going to need, if you want that, you're going to need 100,000. And secondly, it's like saying, right, I'm going to take up a new sport. You know, I'm going to learn to snowboard. So I'm going to buy the snowboard. I'm going to go for the black run. I'm going to buy my own chalet in France. You don't need to do that. You know, you should start by effectively subcontracting. So what we recommend is to use design companies, to use outsource centers. I mean, we print models for 30, 40 different labs. We print special trays, we print dentures. You know, you don't have to invest in carbon printers to get carbon technology. There are other labs, there are other suppliers that have carbon printers. And by outsourcing your product, you can start the process quite simply. So we design and print for some other labs, but I'd recommend first and foremost is probably software. Start with just software. You know, you buy a decent PC, buy ExoCAD or 3Shape, and then you can start receiving files and designing files. And then you can send it to a lab that's got a printer, and you can send it to a lab that's got a milling machine, or send it to one of the, you know, there's many suppliers now that are providing this service. It's a small investment. And we find in our lab, like when labs are using us to printing, you tend to find their sales kind of go up and then they drop. And that's the point where they buy a printer. And that's a normal process. It happened to me when I started milling zirconia. When I started using zirconia, we got to a point where our sales meant it was justifying having a milling machine, and we stopped outsourcing. And I think labs need to go in that process. You don't need this astronomical capital investment. Take it soft, take it slowly, get some advice. All these stages can be outsourced, and they can bring you into digital. And as you get to the point that you're full, you can then start to buy your own stuff or outsource more. I mean, when we get too busy, we outsource some of our design services. So it's about understanding what's available and what works for your business.
I mean, you have summarized everything, whatever we were talking about so far, that yes, if you, I mean, as a analog lab owner or traditional lab owner, you will get stuck into that phase of doing work, and then you'll be like, okay, fine, I want to invest in something, I want to get digital, but don't know how to do it. And then we get into that vicious cycle of day-to-day work, and we end up missing out on those things and all those moments. And yes, as you said, that from milling to designing, everything can be outsourced and everything can be done by other team, and that will become part of your team because it's an extended part of your workforce in that sense. So that's an amazing tip which you have given for all the lab owners who wants to go digital. From my side, I would say we have seen loads and loads of your work which comes up everywhere on social media, and I've seen you so many times on a number of occasions with all the work which you have done, and we see it's phenomenal. It's amazing. We want more labs to do that kind of work, and that's where the journey for dentists and the patients is going to change. Thank you very much from me, Ashley. Shreya, any questions from you?
No, Ashley, I think all of this is very useful. And these are all small things that, a lab, it just needs to realize that it's not that overwhelming. It's just a small step, start with the simple software, like you said, and it's doable. It's something that any analog. And I think in the future, in the next few years, all labs will have to do this. I mean, they will, I think at some point they will have to move on to the journey towards digital workflow. Thank you so much, Ashley, for taking our time. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.